First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. Um, I just gotta be thankful. You know, as a target individual, there's an ecosystem of these perps and losers that usually live around you. That's how they design things. Wherever you go, whatever neighborhood, whatever country you go, there's going to be some kind of ecosystem that surrounds you with perps who's supposed to gaslight you. And for me, I've been very vocal. That is a ecosystem that was supposed to make me think in such a nonsensical way, to try to disorient me and destabilize me from the clear obviousness of what's happening here. It doesn't take a genius. And the way these losers around me that you're gonna see here, try to gaslight me. They're like, oh yeah, she's so smart. They're like, first of all, they call me she. I'm like, I don't care if I'm a she or a he or a they or a thou. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. The pronouns you use. But they say things like that because I guess as gaslighter, they're supposed to like push me into a state of almost mental retardation. They really want you to be to that level, and there's a whole ecosystem around you that was supposed to like make you believe this thing. And with time, it's been worse. And I've noticed one thing: the more unveiled they are about how obvious and destructive this program is, which at this point there's nothing to stand on. It's over. What this is and what it is to children and women, especially children, is horrible. And I'm going to focus this on children because the nasty thing they do is they then try to paint themselves as the protector of children. And I will never. Matter of fact, I have rage. The reason why you see me behave this way in front of these guys is because I know children are suffering, and in the background you hear a child screaming. This trash holding a child like that. What he's trying to do is to cover up that he's involved in something where children are being tortured, and children as young as the child is holding. He's involved in something like that. But wanted to design this as something else, as something that protects kids. You're going to hear when I'm done talking here. A video that actually was last year. It was the Target Justice thing and events, and a bunch of Target individuals gathered met together, and this woman in this snippet came and she started crying, as you're gonna see, saying, "My son is enduring pain that I've not even seen grown men go through in my lifetime." Her son is a victim of this program. The son is being abused in this program. And he's not the only one. There's many other children suffering. My point is, you get an idea of what this is to children pretty clearly. It gives you an idea of what they do to children here. You're going to then hear a child screaming. I think that's the same kid. Because you hear a voice of something, do something, somebody. Somebody screaming, like a mother screaming for help because the child is screaming in agony like that. The child is being abused and screaming like that. That's something that you're seeing here. Get you an idea of what this program does to children. That alone put the rage and the battery that I need to see this slow life for what they are. So when they drag the little kids there, using their babies as shields to paint themselves as protectors of kids, I know what they're trying to do is they try to cover up the evilness of what they're part of, that harm children. They're using these poor innocent kids to shield the reality that they're involved in a program where they torture babies. And this man did that. I couldn't help myself. I gave him the fingers like, I know what you guys do to children, clown. You're dragging this kid out to cover up how you torture children. You're going to listen to how this woman is destroyed. This is the program that Target individuals are put in. I'm thankful I don't have children, because my children will go through the same horror. And that's the worst. They can torture me any way they can want. They can cut me in pieces and do all that, whatever they say. They say they're going to do all this torturous to compensate the fact that actually they torture children. And because they've been so exposed, they now want to cover that up. This guy came, like, there's a chain waiting for you. He's like, I'd rather be on the chain than cover up the horror that you're part of. And then use a child as a cover up in a program that tortured children. They're using these children to cover up the horror. And it doesn't take a genius. Let me say this. Would something involving torturing children also be something that protects children? These trash are clowns. Because the obviousness of the obviousness of the horror of what they do to children is obvious. Right now you can hear there's an ecosystem of noise campaign. Matter of fact, I'm being lightheaded because, they get tired of me putting the reality in their face. It's been an evolution of more validation every other week at this point. It's funny because right now they tell me, I don't think it's true. They tell me that who you gonna see here, they will tell me that they're gonna make it look like that's my child. And let's just say that you don't need to get a DNA test to know that's not my child. But my point is, and by the way, they tell me they're gonna frame me. Now I know some of the time they say that just gonna worry me, kind of push me into insanity. But they're making everything possible to try to cover that up. Listen, this program is torturous to children. Now you can only imagine the psychological torture they do. They were trying to convince me that who put me in this program, which let's just say that this company I used to work for is a company that work in industrialized products. As far away that you can imagine in anything that's technological. It is strictly supplies for industrial, and I don't want to give too much details. Let's just say that it's not a tech company. It's an organization very, 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 very doing very well. The owners of this company are influencer of the country in the sense they're very, very conservative. They call them the ultra conservative. I mean, this is not about politics, but I'm just going to give you an idea that the origin of me being in this program comes from there. And these people were the people that you don't want to mess with. And they're the people, let's just say that there's not a lot of people looking like me working there, especially in my gender and my age group. Maybe two in the office of 3,000. I think by the time I left, maybe there was 3, 4, or maybe 5. I think it was 3. Especially under 30. The kind of place where somebody like me should have behaved in very, very, very conservative ways. But unfortunately, I was young. I thought I didn't know about a world like that. And they put me in this program. And what this program does is strictly destruction. Psychological and physical. And defamation. So they make me think of when I was working there. They already put me in this program, and they're acting ways that are theatrical. Looking back in retrospective, I was like, oh, they were acting in these ways, wanting me to see them behave this way, wanting me to hear them say these things, wanting me to, like, it was clear. And they do a lot of theatrics. And they make me think of one of the managers that I was recording, talking to him about the situation, who was like, why people are behaving like that, sitting a cubicle behind me. Somebody comes to his desk, and by the way, you can see he can see in front of me who's sit there. I'm there, and they brought and I think they just twisted it that way. But initially, I thought that they were trying to set me up with my coworkers and make it sound like, oh, you're stalking the coworkers and this, because the coworkers will act scared and act and it made me thinking, oh, they tried to set me up with make it look like I'm doing something with the coworker, and they did things like that. They will leave me, for example, this manager, we'll have a meeting for 3 of us. The manager will just not come in the room for a while. It'll be me and this person, and she will say like, "Oh, you should come to this thing." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna come there." And then show up. So I thought it was something like that happening, and I think that's what is happening. It was happening, but now they try to twist in something else. So they make me think of like when the guy comes, get to my manager's cubicle behind me, and like he's showing paperwork. You can hear paper. She's like, I didn't see much here, not much here, there, here, but there's something here, maybe there, but no, there's that's all, something like that. And initially I thought, oh, they were viewing like the cameras in the building. Now, mind you, this person says that knowing that I'm there in front of him. And today they're like, no, what they're doing is like, they're like going through your brain, and like, oh, that's something, and that's something. And today, because what's happening, they do this nasty manipulation, which today what they do in this program, they can make you have sexual arousals like that. Whenever they want you to have stimulation sensation, they can do that. Like a button. They press. And mind you, the program that torture children and make kids suffering like that, they want me to think, no, we're just mapping. They manipulate the brain in these degrading ways. The tactical things they've been doing here is to paint themselves, those who torture children, abuse children the way that you're seeing here. Those people are now mapping the brain to protect kids. Clowns. And so they use clowns like that, which you look at him, it's like, okay, he's a very believable buddy. They were supposed to convince me, it's like, no, there's something they was talking about. Is as they were going through the brain, they sell shipping supplies. And that kind of information, I don't think they'll be like, oh, you know this guy over there? Yeah, we didn't see it, but this. So they're trying to make me think that those people who sell industrial supplies, who are doing far from anything tech. I'm just talking about like the most non-tech thing you can imagine. Find something. No, they put me in something where they torture children and women. They do these mental tortures, which consist of this nasty manipulation. The defamations is big. And for me, they're like, no, but remember what you did as a child. Remember they put me in a program where you torture children. What was happening is that they're already designing the defamation and how they're going to approach my torturers. And putting me in a program where they torture children makes it hard to be like, oh, there's something. Yes, there's fuckers who torture infants, children. And this trash here are bringing their kids. So when I see the kids, they force me the manipulation from the people who torture kids and make women cry and ask, hey, my child is suffering like that. Do something. The something is that. And this disgusting next door neighbors they utilize in this program are supposed to cover that up on the soul of all these children suffering and being abused like that. Dealing with pain that even grown men haven't even experienced. Your disgustingness, your cowardness. And if you throw your kids in front of me, I feel bad for these poor kids that they're being utilized to cover up torture of children. Because there's something consists of torturing children like that. And they have clowns like that who think I was going to be a retard. Of course there's something. There's something that tortures children that is forcing people to have disgusting experiences to present themselves as a protector of children. And then try to be like so deceptive in a way that's almost mentally retarded. How deceptive can you be when you clearly torture children? I gave him the fingers like, clown, go fuck yourself. Excuse my language. I know there's something. You are killing children like that. You want me to see your kids so they map the brain. Yeah, they manipulate the brain in this way. Then you use the psyop of all kind of disgustingness. Like, yeah, there's something. Yes, this. That validate this. These so natural things that push people to cause mass shootings. Clown. Target Mitchell, stay strong. But think one thing at least. Be thankful. You could have been one of these clowns. You know, in the background, what was playing was the scream of these abuses. The child being abused like that. A mother crying. This is not unique to one. Many testimonials like that. Mothers and their children being abused, tortured. This is the opposite of anything that protects kids. They even force these disgusting experiences onto target vigil to paint the target vigil as a threat to children and them the protector of children. That's what these clowns bringing his kids. And I expect you to be a clown. Like, do you think they still have a chance to present yourself that way? And it gets worse because there's so much validation that there are harmers of children, abusers of children, torturers of children. Then try to gaslight me using the people who put me in the program that torture children. I mean, whatever theatric thing, which they're twisting that way, but I think what they were trying to kind of make me feel paranoid. By bringing things like, right behind me when the guy who sprays it can see me there. Now, the something is clear. It's something that comes from people who have been exposed for being torturers of children, torturers of 3-year-old toddlers and younger. Exposed like what? Like there's no tomorrow. I'm sorry for being passionate, but when I see these clowns like that, it's the rage that comes in me because it's not about me. It's not anymore about me. This guy cautiously is trying to cover up that he's involved in something that tortured children and then drag this little kid out to cover up the torture of these little kids. What makes more sense here? Also, the torturers of children are... Yeah, okay. But I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that they've given me this gift of feeling like a genius because I'm not. It's just an ecosystem like people like him. They're supposed to drive you into a state of stupidity. If you involve yourself in what kids like that are screaming like that, all of a sudden you yes, you're going to hear a woman asking something, do something. The something is there, and that's what you're going to hear. It doesn't take a genius. And actually, I had to humble myself. Because, the ecosystem around you, or everybody you interact with, are going to go with that stupidity as if it's rational. And you can find yourself finding so, smart, like, oh my gosh, the truth is everybody dumbed themselves down to gaslight you. And they use clowns like that. And I love to expose them. It's like, go ahead, please. And I was like, that's how much I subscribe to this, you clown ass. Yeah, you're torturing babies like that. You go F yourself. Come and show you again. And then Papa's like, go F yourself. You're killing babies. And naturally torturing children, clowns. Target Vigil, see these things. And look at this clown here. This is what you're going to see here is some guy, neighbor, he purposely come and show his child. And guess what triggers that? The something is that they're involved in something where 3-year-old toddlers can get tortured and still try to maintain the cover-up of we're protecting kids for the soul of these poor kids suffering more than an adult. For the soul of these kids that are dealing with sufferance that mothers have never seen even an adult go through. I treat these losers like that.
Yeah, let me check. Where? Oh, that's a police shoe. Where? See? Yeah, should be there. That's all from here. Yeah. Ok, un bon moment de chèque, c'est bien. Ouais. Ok. Ouais. Ok. Ouais, je vais montrer ses enfants. Oui, bien sûr. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me check. Yeah. Ouais, ouais. Regarde cette pourriture. Ouais. Ouais. See? Yeah, should be there. That's all I'm talking. Yeah. Ok, un bon moment de chèque, c'est bien. Ouais. Ok. Ouais. Ok. Ouais, je vais montrer ses enfants. Oui, bien sûr. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me check. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me check. Yeah. Ouais, ouais. Regarde cette pourriture. Ouais. Ouais. See? Yeah, should be there. That's all I'm talking. Yeah. Ok, un bon moment de chèque, c'est bien. Ouais. Ok. Ouais. Ok. Ouais, je vais montrer ses enfants. Oui, bien sûr. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me check. Yeah. Ouais, ouais. Regarde cette pourriture. Ouais. Ouais. See? Yeah, should be there. That's all I'm talking. Yeah. Ok, un bon moment de chèque, c'est bien. Ouais. Ok. Ouais. Ok. Ouais, je vais montrer ses enfants. Oui, bien sûr.
Endured more pain than any grown man I've known in lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds are tortured.
My son, he's endured more pain than any grown man I've known in lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds.
Someone, do something. My son endured more pain than any grown man I've known in lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds are tortured.
My son, he's endured more pain than any grown man I've known in lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds.
Someone, do something. My son.
Worryingly, a growing number of people are contacting TI support organizations to report that their children seem to be displaying signs of these weapons. Often, the parents are victims themselves, making the torture a generational thing.
A significant number of members, many single mothers, and small children, minor children as young as 3 years old, are being targeted and harassed, particularly with voice to skull, V2K. The sickness that someone would torture a small child is beyond belief. We have
You know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons fired.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons fired by the CIA.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons.
Criminals are scared for their lives.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons.
Today I forgot to bring my flyers with me. I did bring my cards, but I forgot to bring the flyers because I didn't know I was going to be able to see them. And I just blurted out and I said, little girls are being microwaved by the CIA. and he was surrounded by women.
Eyes, and we have children as young as 3 years old that are hearing voices. They have implanted dreams, very violent and some in sexual nature. It to children, they're implanting children with atrocious dreams, many of them of a sexual nature, and it's just a
throw these
of abuse of the human resources. My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutmann to begin today.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to
Where Fraley and HF appear across the litigation record. A district court complaint excerpts in the Supreme Court appendix. The Supreme Court appendix contains the complaint section titled Devin Delaney Fraley and the follow-on paragraphs about HF starting immediately after that heading. B. Fifth Circuit Appeal, March 8, 2024. The Fifth Circuit opinion caption lists Devin Delaney Fraley and HF among the plaintiff's appellants. Notably, it labels JD and LM as a minor, but does not print a minor after HF in that caption line. C. Supreme Court Petition, July 23, 2024. The petition's petitioner list includes Devin Delaney Fraley and then separately lists HF, a minor. It also includes a note explaining that after an amended complaint was filed, the minor daughter of petitioner Fraley was added as a claimant. Number 2, Fraley's allegations, what she claims happened to her. In the complaint excerpt, as reproduced in the appendix, Fraley alleges in substance she was nominated included in a TSDB subcategory, NS McCarthy blacklist, without notice and without an opportunity to rebut.
Yeah, let me see.
Say thank you.
Yeah.
And psychological.
His cry.
Irritability, slamming her head against the floor, extremely high body temperature upon waking, among others. The allegations about ongoing harm include
The images appear in the
do it. It was like they pressed a button and it just went and
hurt people.
Inserting thoughts, sometimes you hear voices, some people hear voices, putting emotions into your head and using all this information to drive you crazy, to torture you.
They're saying these things like, oh,
daily. The thoughts are often indistinguishable from your own, but are obvious because they seem out of place compared to your usual thoughts. These could be regularly appearing subtle thoughts telling you to kill yourself or to hurt people.
they can elicit strong emotional reactions on people, and they could do it with whatever emotion. We can turn you on right now. We can make you angry. We can make you sad, and they would do it. It was like they pressed a button, and it just went, and it just would just go away, and I just felt like totally normal.
The dreams are noticeably different from ordinary dreams in that they are often vulgar or include some kind of trauma, and they are usually more memorable and less abstract.
I was aware for a while that my dreams were being influenced. It's very, very clear that they're using dreams to reinforce the programming, to program the unconscious mind. I'm getting the same thing, some kind of like trauma dream where there's like something goes really.
The images appear in the mind's eye, both when the eyes are open and closed. The voices are heard inside the head, not through the ears. The thoughts present as your own thoughts, but often include things that seem odd, like words that aren't in your usual vocabulary. Victims report that these attacks seem to be trying to psychologically break them. The voices react to both the thoughts and the speech of the victim. In addition, sophisticated psychological operation designed to destroy their life.
The sorts of things that it uses to destroy you.
At first they were saying a lot of homosexual things to me. Once that really didn't fly, as far as, you know, getting me mad or whatever, they switched over to talking a lot about pedophilia, and that was happening a lot.
Automated torture 24/7, situation. I mean, good job of intertwining everything. Every, whatever accomplishments you have in the, I have no idea why they do what they do. It's just.
Down 4 people after ranting about mind control. Stephen Marlowe was apprehended in Kansas over the weekend following a 2-day manhunt. The shootings happened on Friday near Dayton, Ohio. The deceased were found in 2 separate homes near the house where the 39-year-old Marlowe lived with his parents. The victims were an elderly couple, and in the other home, a mother and her 15-year-old daughter. Marlowe will now be extradited to Ohio to face charges. Prior to that, Marlowe posted a video on social media about launching a counterattack against mind control. Take a look.
When the world realizes what has happened, there will be justice, but I cannot sit by and be a victim any longer, and I refuse to sit by and do nothing while my nieces and nephews and the rest of my family are operated on with mind control. Our thoughts are not private. It is disgusting and it is cruel. I will be launching the first counterattack against mind control in human history. I want to be very clear, this will not be an active shooting event. I will be executing some of the people responsible for activating shooters. If I happen to survive, please visit me in prison, if only to see the same man you have always known, rather than the victim of some mental disorder that does not exist. What you may not understand is that I will gladly die to expose this, and I will gladly die to help one other victim discover the truth of what has happened. If I can help another targeted individual fight back against telepathy, then the sacrifice will be well worth it. To any TIs who read this, understand that your attackers use the form of ventriloquism I describe in the paper to move your thoughts, but your thoughts can also move their mouths. To my friends in Chicago, Lexington, Dayton, and all over the world, get this email out to everyone you know. The most horrific weapon ever made is being used on human beings, and if you ever learn the truth, you will understand what I did here to protect myself and my family. Get this out to other TIs, other voice hearers, so the world has a chance to fight back. To my family, especially my nieces and nephews, I want you to understand that what I do here, I do for your future, and hope that you can live a life free of mind control. I love you guys.
Still with us, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani, and a special guest joining us now to talk about the mental health issues in this.
A Kentucky man is accused of murdering his neighbor.
The crime happened a week ago in a Somerset neighborhood, and today police testified about the bizarre circumstances surrounding the crime, as we're learning more about the case from the 911 calls made after the shooting. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what took place in the case today in Pulaski County. Our top story at 5.
After Adam Roark was shot outside his home on Dogwood Lane, there were 2 911 calls that were made. One came from Roark's wife, who had witnessed the shooting, and the other came from the suspect himself.
911.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and say, hey, I just shot Adam Roark. You know, I've been tortured for 5 years now.
James Gleason called to say that he had shot his neighbor, and a detective testified that Gleason told him that torture was his neighbors using direct energy weapons on him.
Though asked, he did not give details as far as
what a direct energy weapon was.
The shooting happened just after midnight last Wednesday.
A murder weapon. On it he etched a number of carvings, including "End to the Torment," "Better Off This Way," and "My ELF Weapon." Alexis had been hearing voices and believed he was being bombarded by microwaves, something naval authorities knew about.
There are multiple indicators that Alexis held a delusional belief that he was being controlled or influenced by extremely low frequency, or ELF, electromagnetic waves.
And in his computer files, the FBI found this.
A document retrieved from the electronic media stated, quote, "Ultra-low frequency attack is what I've been subject to for the last 3 months. And to be perfectly honest, that is what has driven me to this."
And so on what should have been a routine day, Alexis killed 12 people. Mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. Diane.
Wanna shoot the children.
You can tell him how you know about children that are victims of directed energy weapons fired. Criminals are
the target.
It is what
you control me. I have my own free will.
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
They use these monarch-style torture programs. Like, it's based on sex and trauma. So they're going to traumatize you, they're going to use your libido to get back at you, and
this technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal,
what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me check. Where? Oh, that's a pollution. Where? See? Yeah, should be there. That's all I'm from here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to check. See?
lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds are tortured.
My son, he's endured more pain than any grown man I've known in lifetime. In lifetime.
3-year-olds.